working for you in high definition. This is Channel 4 News at 4.
We don't have nowhere to go.
I'm lost for words.
3 years ago, it was a slow riser. Today, a gusher.
When I opened the door, all the water came in.
But no matter the yardstick you use to measure it,
The May flood didn't get into our home. This one is well up to the light switches.
this one is bad.
It was worse this time because the last time it didn't get in my apartment.
Channel 4 News is working for you as our city cleans up from another flood. And welcome to Channel 4 News at 4. I'm Jeremy Finley in the studio.
And I'm Demetria Kaladimos out in Madison, in the spot where they got the worst of it. A heavy downpour pushed a building off its foundation, left people trapped and scrambling from the high water.
And Demetria, images we haven't seen since the historic flood of 2010 came back in a rush of water today. People stranded on their rooftops, an interstate and side roads underwater. Water so fierce, an entire building was torn off its foundation. And more rain is headed our way. Within the last half hour, Nashville Mayor Carl Dean held a news conference to discuss the city's response to the floods. You know, we're going to have the latest from our team out covering the floods, but first, we want to start with forewarned meteorologist Dan Thomas, who has some important warnings we needed to let everybody know about. Dan.
Yeah, we're talking about flooding situations right now that continue because of all the heavy rain we had earlier today. Parts of the area got upwards of 8 inches of rain, and so because of that, we still have a flood warning in effect for much of Davidson County, southern Robertson, Sumner, northern Wilson County, and Trousdale County as well. That remains in effect until 6 p.m. A flood advisory is up for Cookeville over toward Carthage, Alexandria as well, just south of Gainsboro and Livingston. And then in southwestern Middle Tennessee, we had some very heavy rain just in the last couple of hours, even some severe thunderstorms moving through Lobelville and Centerville. You actually have a flood advisory, and that remains in effect for the next little bit. Here's a look at the radar right now. Forewarned live Doppler. We have some showers surrounding Nashville, and it looks like more rain is going to move in from Cheatham and Dixon County in just the next little bit. Thankfully, it seems to be light rain, so light showers will redevelop in time. There's a little heavier downpour just north of Ridgetop. We have light rain ongoing for Springfield down into southern Williamson County, parts of Marshall County, and very heavy thunderstorms right now, not quite severe, but very powerful, moving toward Winchester from west to east. So your evening forecast shows that you should keep the umbrella handy. Things are looking pretty good for the Titans game. It does appear that in all likelihood it will be dry with breaking clouds. 75 degrees at 7 o'clock, 75 at 9, and 74 degrees expected at 11 o'clock tonight. We'll have your complete forecast when I come back in about 15 minutes.
All right, Dan, we'll see you then. Let's get back out to Demetria and Madison with some of the worst flooding. Demetria.
Boy, Jeremy, this afternoon when the mayor spoke, he said this is nowhere near the 2010 flood, but that's little consolation to folks out here in Madison. This is an old motel court style building, and it had two straight buildings up until this morning. This section that sits right on Gibson Creek literally slid right off its foundation when that quick, heavy downpour came in. The mayor told us there were 211 calls for help citywide this morning. Most of those people were stranded either in their homes or in cars. Most of those calls came in before 10 a.m. Now, the Red Cross has set up two shelters for people that needs a place to stay tonight. One is at Mount Zion Baptist Church, 7594 Old Hickory Boulevard. Another is the Hadley Park Community Center. That's 1037 28th Avenue North, and we'll have those addresses, of course, on our website. He also said what items, all the stuff messed up, can be set out on the curb for Public Works to pick up. Again, nowhere on the scale of the 2010 floods, he said, and at this point, as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, things were winding down.
At 3 o'clock today, we transitioned the headquarters for our emergency response from an area command in the field to our emergency operations center here. The highly capable team of people behind me and their talented staffs are working hard to keep our citizens safe and address some limited damage to public infrastructure.
Now, if there is a silver lining, it's that the Titans preseason game tonight and the first concert of Live on the Green are both a go, according to the mayor. But he cautions there still may be bad road damage and maybe even some high water in places, so be very careful driving. You know, you can see pictures and video of floodwater, but until it's rushing into your house, carrying away your things, you really don't know a flood. In the hours just before dawn this morning, that's when the worst was happening in Bordeaux. Ann McCloy was there when people were leaving their homes, some of them on piggyback.
Yeah, Demetria, to give you a visual, I'm 5'4", and the floodwaters in this neighborhood came up 5 feet high, according to the residents that live here, enough to carry away cars. This one still hung up in these wires. You can see it took out that trash can up against that tree, and it came from 2 blocks away. But the homeowners, the residents in this neighborhood, some of them, they couldn't get in their cars, so they had to bust out windows and climb. With their homes surrounded by floodwater, some residents had nowhere to go but up.
She was on top of a car. Her nephew, a grandson was on top of the roof. And the helicopters, I think they were going to try to drop a line and get us, but she's too old. She didn't let them do that.
Air 4 was there as the grandson tried waving down rescue workers, wading through the overflown Ewing Creek.
I called 911, asked them, can you get a boat over here? Well, the water was too choppy for even a boat to get over here. It was like a lake in my front yard.
Other residents tried saving their cars, but the waters won.
We were sitting there just watching them float on by, hoping that there wasn't nobody in them.
Some families along the creek decided to take their chances and float away.
All of a sudden we see them floating out on a mattress. It was the lady and then her baby was on the mattress.
First responders eventually reached the homes where help was needed.
Well, he told me he was going to walk right beside of me and hold on to me. He wasn't going to let me fall. He was real nice.
They used ladders to guide this family off the rooftop and off to safety.
I'm just thankful. Wasn't any worse. Good Lord was with me.
And that lady that was mentioned on top of the car in this neighborhood, she was taken to an ambulance. As far as we know, there were no injuries in this neighborhood. And Demetria, this is not the only car hung up here tonight. Back to you.
I'm sure of that, Ann. Well, you may have seen traffic jams before on Gallatin Road, but this morning it looked like the Rio Grande. The force of the water was so great, it shifted this old motel, now a strip mall, right off its foundation. And there was a ripple effect. Upstream, a cabinet shop lost about $1 million worth of equipment because this building became an instant dam. Josh Devine has more on what happened here in the early hours.
It looks like any other. But early this morning, a swollen Gibson Creek did some of the worst damage in Nashville.
There's just nothing you can do.
Floodwaters trapped several homeowners. Rescuers stepped in to save lives.
It was very scary, especially for a 4-year-old who's never been through this, and he's scared to death. He's going up in the attic and he doesn't know what's going on.
As the water receded this morning, the damage became easier to assess. Tony McElhane had more than 5 feet of water in his house on Gibson Road. 2 vehicles had major damage. His belongings went everywhere.
What I think, if they'd come done what everybody wanted them to with that ditch back there, it's probably wouldn't have happened. Every time it rains, it's higher over here than it is back this way.
It can't get under the river.
So it can't get up under here fast enough to go out.
Further down the creek at this building housing a salon and church along Gallatin Pike, cleanup continues. Inside the church, mud covers the floors. The pastor's office sits in shambles. This afternoon, Nashville's urban search and rescue team checked the area, but luckily didn't find anything. A bright spot in a dark day for this part of Nashville.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we're going to move from here because it's the second time happened that. But this is more bad than the last time.
That was Josh Devine reporting this morning. In Wilson County, in Mount Juliet, even over the last 3 years, there has been tremendous growth. And engineers will tell you with growth often comes drainage and water problems. There are about a half-dozen water rescues there this morning and a big problem at the Villages Shopping Center. Nancy Amons now with that story.
Well, all over Mount Juliet, there were a lot of problems today, and you can see an example right here. We're at the entrance of the Brookstone subdivision, and this is Stoner's Lick Creek. You can see how the force of the water has just taken the trees and put them in the middle of the stream. If you take a look over to my right, you're going to see a big field where there's a tree out in the middle of this big field. That big tree there, that's how high the water was this morning. At 10 o'clock this morning, it only receded by about noon. But earlier today, WEMA's Swift Water Rescue Team was very busy on a number of rescues. We're going to look at some Air 4 video of a series of rescues that were on West Division Street. An elderly couple had to be taken to safety by the Swift Water Rescue Team, and so was a man and his dog, both in the same block of the West Division Street. The water was fast moving and murky, and it is exactly the kind of training that these people have been working on so hard ever since the flood of May 2010. They've gotten a lot of equipment and a lot of training since then for days just like today. Demetria?
You know, the good news is we are pros at this. We know how to work after floods in Nashville, and the volunteerism has already started. You can hear the racket over there, people helping others get rid of messy things and try to rebuild and try to get everything dry in case it rains again tonight. Jeremy?
Yeah, it's a scary feeling of deja vu. Thank you very much, Demetria. Well, you know, in the middle of all this rain, as the flood water was receding, Metro Police had to investigate a shooting. They got a call a little after 11:30 inside the Family Dollar store on the corner of Whites Creek Pike and West Trinity Lane. A group of guys had words inside the store. The manager asked them to leave, and when they did, the bullets started flying. In all, officers found 19 shell casings. 2 men were wounded, 39-year-old John Gant and 28-year-old Nicholas Crutcher, who was critically wounded. And about a half hour later, a major interstate crash. This is I-40 at the 24 split on the east side of town. You can see a tractor trailer was merging eastbound, slid off the ramp. It was a problem for a couple hours as crews worked through the rain to remove it. All right, well, if it wasn't busy enough today, it is the preseason opener for the Tennessee Titans. Rudy and Chris are live for us at LP Field. All right, guys, through the storm and rain, we're going to play some football tonight.
There you go. And with that in mind, breaking news from here at the LP Field. The field has been covered. I had people say, are they even going to play? But the field has been covered the whole time. It'll be wonderful.
Yeah, that's right. They had the tarp out here. It was sopping wet earlier, and when we first got here, it was about 110 degrees with the humidity. But it's all right. The grass is going to be good to go, assuming the rain holds off, so we're good.
Did you see the streak went by us? Those were Redskins players trying to track their way around the outside. Listen, keys to the game. For me, and I think both of us, it starts with Jake Locker. How is he going to do? He's gotten the pressure of now being the starting man. They wanted to see whether or not he would hang on to the football or when will he pass. All these things that they've worked on with a new system.
Oh, absolutely. And we saw it on Saturday when they were out at the stadium, in their run through. He was trying to be crisp. He has a lot of weapons now. Justin Hunter, Kendall Wright, obviously Nate Washington, Kenny Britt. Everyone's healthy. They got him a new offensive line to hopefully give him a little extra protection and all of that stuff. So, yeah, in his third year, he's got a lot on his shoulders. And so I think, we're all curious to see how he does this first time out. Probably get 20 to 25 snaps out here tonight.
You got that. Listen to Jake. Here's what he said.
It's just a matter of getting into game situations these next 3-4 weeks and seeing really where we're at when it's a little more stressful and things are moving a little faster and it's everything's live to see how a lot of times out here you're not quite sure. Things look good, just don't know how good till you get going.
It is tough if you get off to a slow start. You don't really have a chance to bounce back from it. But again, you're able to learn from any situation, good or bad. So I think that going out and preparing as well as you can and then going out and playing hard allows you the opportunity to improve and get better.
All right, we'll find out tonight, I guess.
They're cranking up the music. Something is working. Redskins are running around. It should be a lot of fun. Very interesting to watch tonight. Redskins have a great running offense. We'll see how they do against the Titans' new defense.
Yeah, that's right. The first few snaps, I think, could be interesting just to see what type of, vanilla installation they're going to have.
I just want to see aggressive intensity. That's what we've needed, right?
That's right.
Let's send it back to you guys.
All right, and that's what we're looking for tonight. Thank you, Rudy. With all this rain, the afternoon drive, the first live on the Green concert and the first Titans game, traffic this afternoon is going to get worse before it gets better. So let's check in with Jennifer Herron with what you need to know before you head out, Jennifer.
All right, so this afternoon we're expecting 24 to be really busy just east of downtown. Right now, not too congested just yet. This is out by Ellington Parkway. And a reminder, before the game and then after the game, those entrance and exit ramps off 24 at Spring Street and Shelby Avenue will have some closures. Let's take a look at the area map now. A big closure for us happens in just minutes. The Woodland Street Bridge will be blocked for the game. So James Robertson Parkway will be the way to go. Now, if that gets too busy, police are going to send you off over into the Jefferson Street area over through Metro Center. So if you have friends that work in the Metro Center area, beware. It's going to be a long drive trying to get out of that Metro Center area. Also on Charlotte out by TSU over in the state parking lot there. That's where everybody's going to be parking to catch the shuttle buses. So there's going to be extra traffic along Charlotte right there close to where you would catch 40. Now we still have some damage as well if you're trying to make your way over to the Titans game or anywhere this evening from the storms up in Gallatin. Neely's Bend at Madison Boulevard. We have part of the road that collapsed there, so there's going to be a detour set up. And out in Mount Juliet, Old Lebanon Dirt Road at Page Road is still blocked because of flooding as well. Jeremy?
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Well, coming up, remembering a country legend, a look back at the Hall of Famer we lost today. And a natural disaster of another sort. We're going to take you to a fire in Southern California. Well, as we're dealing with torrents of rain in California, it's fire that has people on the run. More than 1,000 people have been forced out of their homes because of a destructive wildfire burning in Southern California's San Jacinto Mountains. That's about 90 miles outside of LA. The fire is now about 15 square miles wide. It's still raging at this hour. None of it has been contained. And one child has died, and major roads in parts of Missouri are closed because of flooding there. Days of fierce rain forced Interstate 44 to close. That's the main roadway between St. Louis and Springfield. Now, in the backup in some places is up to 125 miles long. And we are continuing to monitor the rain here in Middle Tennessee, so let's go right to meteorologist Dan Thomas in the Forward Weather Center for the very latest. Dan.
Still watching some showers moving through, Jeremy. Still watching some heavy downpours in parts of the mid-state. We start with a look at full-worn live Doppler radar and move in for a closer look around the Nashville area. And much of what we see right now has become much more patchy and light. So we've got some light showers moving through Springfield, pushing on toward Portland. You can see some rain down toward Ashland City. That will move back into Nashville in the next, say, 30 to 45 minutes. And then farther south in southern sections of Williamson County, we also have some pockets of light rain. Where the rain right now is most impressive, down across southeastern Middle Tennessee, down into sections of Franklin County. So about to bear down on Winchester. It's not severe, it's just heavy rain, perhaps some wind gusts to about 40 miles an hour. Also in northeastern Middle Tennessee, we're finding other additional areas of showers, and these in spots where we got 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of rain earlier today. All right, let's go right to the weather computer now and take a look at what we're expecting. And we're seeing, because of the rain, we still have flooding issues, warnings and advisories, and we'll touch on those here in just a couple of moments. Later on this evening, heavy downpours will redevelop in spots, but I do see hope for the Titans game tonight, so some good news regarding that. Okay, we've got a flood warning in effect for Nashville, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and points farther east we have a flood advisory. And notice we also have a flood advisory into the early afternoon hours of today. Lobelville back towards Centerville. That's where we had some very heavy downpours just a couple hours ago. This is a time lapse of the heavy downpours that moved through Nashville earlier today. And you can see just low-hanging clouds, reduced visibility. Madison, a rain gauge report in Madison, just under 8 inches of rain. Just unbelievable. Here's the live view in Nashville right now, still mostly cloudy with showers about to move back in. And current conditions at the Nashville airport, clouds and a temperature 77 degrees. So because of all the persistent clouds and rain today, temperatures have been well below the average. Dew point right now 72, rising pressure 30.00, and relative humidity at 84%. Around the Nashville area, most of us have mid to upper 70s. It's 77 right now in Franklin. We've got 82 in Spring Hill, 75 right now in Lebanon. But notice the big change back into sunshine. Just like yesterday, all you need are a few hours of sunshine, and it is scorching. Right now, Savannah, that's not a mistake, has 95. It's 92 in Dyersburg and 91 at this hour. back toward Jackson. There's more hope tomorrow that more of us will get into this heat and have a little chance to dry out, but we still expect more showers and storms to wave on through tomorrow. So we've got this band of rain right now working toward I-65, and notice what's to the west of there. We've got clearing skies. So West Tennessee, it looks excellent. Arkansas looks outstanding right now. Not to say we couldn't have a little evening development of showers or thunder showers, but there is hope, as I said, for the Titans game to go off dry, just a slight shower chance. And then notice what's going to move in later tonight, more areas of clouds, more showers and thunderstorms, and that will be the case for tomorrow as well. So at LP Field tonight, just a slight shower risk as the Titans are back with the Washington Redskins at 7 p.m. 75 degrees, light and variable wind, breaking clouds and a sunset at 7:45. And your forecast for tomorrow, 74 in the morning, 84 at lunchtime, and 89 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Again, a southwest wind 5 to 10, and again, a very high rain chance, at least for this time of year, and for several days in a row. Here's Futurecast. We've got storms developing tomorrow, but a better chance with daytime heating. Southern sections of Middle Tennessee once again tomorrow should climb easily into the low to mid 90s. 89 for the high tomorrow in Nashville, 50% rain chance. Just the same on Saturday, so if you have some outdoor plans on Saturday, I certainly would stay plugged into the radar. Just make sure you download the Forewarned Weather app if you don't have it yet. That's a good way to do so. 89 for the high on Sunday, 40% chance for showers or storms. No change Monday and Tuesday. A front moves through, the rain chance lessens for Wednesday, 30%. Oh my goodness, I see a completely dry day in the forecast. Thursday, partly cloudy, back into the upper 80s. It's going to get here. It'll just take some time.
And it will be good to see that sun. Thank you, Dan. Well, up next, remembering a country legend, a look back on the life of Cowboy Jack. And if you or someone you know was hit by today's flooding, what's next? Well, we're working for you with the answers. The Music City lost a pioneer today. Cowboy Jack Clement, a recent inductee to the Country Music Hall of Fame, passed away this morning. He was the man behind several legends, producing, recording, and writing with big names like Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Charlie Pride.
And he kept sort of reminding people that the music industry is supposed to be fun. You know, it's not supposed to be this just serious thing, and it's not supposed to be all cookie cutters or formula. You know, the people he worked with were often people you wouldn't necessarily see as stars, but they all were game changers.
Today at the Hall, they put out a condolence book for visitors. Cowboy Jack Clement was 82 years old. Coming up, the trial continues despite a shaky defense, the latest from Fort Hood, Texas. And the devastation of another flood. If you've never been through it before, we're working for you.
And the mayor says there's a plan in place for the people who need shelter and also a plan for all the junk left behind. That and more still ahead.